and bar graphs. Collecting, sorting information, and representing data in visual form is called pictorial representation. The data is represented in pictorial form using pictographs, that is, pictograms, horizontal bar graphs, and vertical bar graphs. Let us solve an example to learn to present data using different methods. There are many types of trees in this huge orchard. They are represented using tally marks. On adding the tally marks information, we get the total number of trees as shown in the table below. With the help of this data, we can represent the above information with 1. A pictograph, 2. A vertical bar graph, and 3. A horizontal bar graph. Let's begin with the pictograph. We know that a pictograph gives information with pictures or symbols. Now, let us represent the data. Step 1. Write the title. Here, the title Trees in Orchard tells us the pictograph is about the trees in an orchard. Step 2. Write the labels. The labels give us the information about the different trees in the orchard. Step 3. Write the scale or key. It tells us what each tree picture is equal to. As here, all the number of trees are in multiples of 5, we take the scale as 5. Lastly, step 4. Draw the pictures as they tell us the given number of trees. So, draw 6 trees for coconut trees, 7 for orange trees, 5 for banana trees, 4 for mango trees, and lastly 3 for apple trees. Hey, look! We have completed representing the data in the form of a pictograph. Now, let us represent the same data in the form of a vertical bar graph. Step 1. Write a title explaining what is being represented. Step 2. Draw the horizontal and the vertical axis. Step 3. Mark the scales on the vertical axis, which represents the numerical data. Step 4. Mark the labels on the horizontal axis. The labels represent the objects, etc. Step 5. Draw columns of same width according to the data. Look, we have drawn a vertical bar graph. Lastly, we shall represent the data in the form of a horizontal bar graph. Step 1. Write a title explaining what is being represented. Step 2. Draw the horizontal and the vertical axis. Step 3. Mark the labels on the vertical axis. The labels represent the objects, etc. Step 4. Mark the numerical data on the horizontal axis. Step 5. Draw the bars of same width according to the data. Look, we have drawn a horizontal bar graph. Wasn't it fun? Data representation is the method of representing information in terms of pictures, symbols, graphs, or numbers. The information that we collect is called data. We can reach certain conclusions on studying the data. There are different methods of data representation. One of them is bar graph. Bar graphs may be horizontal or vertical.
Now, let's look at the data chart of the flowers collected. We have already represented this data using a pictograph. Now, another way of representing this data is through a bar graph. Every bar graph has 1. A title, which tells us what the bar graph is about. 2. Both the side and the bottom of the graph have a label which tell us what kind of data is shown. 3. The scale tells us the number each block is equal to. Now, let's see how we can read this bar graph of the flower farm example. The title, Flowers Collected, tells us the bar graph is about the number of flowers collected. The labels give us the information that the data is about who collected the flowers and how many. The scale tells us how many flowers were collected. Hence, from the bar graph we can say Simi collected 5 flowers, Sanya collected 7 flowers, and Suzanne collected 4 flowers. Max, the mouse, ate some fruits. Let's read this bar graph. Here the title, Fruits Eaten by Max, tells us the bar graph is about the number of fruits eaten by Max, the mouse. The labels tell us that the data is about the kind and number of fruits eaten. The scale tells us the number of fruits eaten. Hence, from the bar graph we can say Max ate 2 mangoes, 4 cherries, 5 apples, and 3 oranges. From the information so obtained, we can say how many fruits Max ate in all, how many more apples he ate than mangoes, and so on. Hence, we can obtain a lot of information from a bar graph too.
Hope it was fun to learn about bar. Today, let us learn one more way of data representation called pie chart. Let us begin. Many a times, you all must have come across data represented in circular form in newspapers, magazines, or on the television. These are called as pie charts. A pie chart is also called as a circle graph. For example, look at the pie chart. Now, let us learn how to read it. The circle represents all the fruits in the shop. The title tells us that the pie chart is about different fruits in Flora's fruit shop. The circle is divided into smaller parts called segments. Each segment of the circle represents a different fruit and a specific value. Here it is the number. Pie charts are best used to compare parts of a whole. Now, observe this pie chart and answer the questions. 1. How many fruits are there in all? So here, we find the total number of fruits. That is 76 plus 52 plus 43 plus 22, which is equal to 193. So, we say there are 193 fruits in all. Next, 2. Which fruit is the maximum in number? Here, as apples occupy the largest segment in the pie chart, the answer is apple. 3. How many more mangoes are there than bananas? Here, we need to subtract the number of bananas from number of mangoes, that is 52 minus 22, which is equal to 30. Thus, we say there are 30 mangoes more than the bananas. Lastly, 4. Which fruit is the least in number? As bananas occupy the smallest segment in the pie chart, the answer is banana. Why not solve one more example to understand it in a better way? Look at this pie chart. It shows the favorite sports of all the kids of Lotus Society. Observe the chart and answer the questions. 1. Which sport is the favorite of 58 kids? Badminton is the favorite sport of 58 kids. 2. Which sport was chosen most by the kids? How many kids chose that sport? As cricket occupies the largest segment in the pie chart, the answer is cricket. And 63 kids chose it as their favorite sport. 3. How many kids chose hockey, chess and basketball in all? So here, to find the answer, we will add 46 plus 23 plus 52, which is equal to 121. How many kids are there in all at Lotus Society? So here we find the total number of kids, that is 63 plus 52 plus 58 plus 46 plus 34 plus 23, which is equal to 276. So, we say there are 276 kids in all. Wasn't it fun reading a pie chart?
Introduction.
Mom, what are you doing?
Ranjana, I am planning the snacks for your birthday party on Sunday. Can you help me decide the menu for the special day?
Definitely, Mom. Most of my friends like chow mein, pav bhaji and chole bhature. Please do include these items in the menu.
Thanks, Ranjana. But this information is not enough.
What other information do you need, Mom?
Ranjana, I need to know the exact numbers of children who like chow mein, pav bhaji and chole bhature. Only then I can decide the quantity of these items.
I see. Mom, I will give you a detailed list of my friends attending the birthday party and their food preferences in another half an hour.
That will be great, Ranjana. As promised, Ranjana provided the required data to her mother. In this lesson, you will learn about data handling. Objectives. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to define data, organize data, interpret pictographs, draw pictographs to represent data, interpret bar graphs, draw bar graphs to represent data. Data. The Residents' Welfare Association or RWA of a certain locality has decided to charge the residents for parking more vehicle than one inside the residential complex. For this purpose, it has asked the residents to provide details of their vehicles to the security guard at the entrance gate. A week later, the president looks at the register. Let us see the details provided by the residents of the locality. Such unarranged raw collection of facts and figures is known as data. Recording of data. Mrs. Sandeep is the academic in charge. She has assigned Sheetal the task of writing the stream preference of all class 10 students. Sheetal collects all requisite details, summarizes them in a single sheet, places it in a file, and hands the file over to the academic in charge. The process of listing information collected from different sources is called recording of data. Organization of data. The data collected by the RWA of the residents and the data provided by Sheetal to the academic in charge are unorganized. Why? The former does not tell the RWA at one glance the number of residents who own more than one vehicle. Similarly, the latter does not tell the academic in charge at one glance the number of students who have opted for science. Organization of data refers to a meaningful arrangement of data that provides the desired information at a glance. Let us now learn to organize data. We use tally marks to organize data. Let us learn how. Consider the data collected by Sheetal on the stream preferences of class 10 students. Make 3 columns: streams, tally marks, and number of students. Specify all available streams under streams one by one. Under tally marks, denote a student with a preference for a particular stream by a tally mark against that stream. Indicate every 5th student preferring a particular stream by a slanting line crossing the previous 4 tally marks. Now count the tally marks against every stream and record it under number of students. Let us now organize the RWA data that we had discussed in the beginning. Make 3 columns: vehicles, tally marks, and number of families. Specify 1, 2, and 3 under vehicles one by one. Under tally marks, denote families with specific number of vehicles by tally marks against appropriate options of vehicles. Now count the tally marks against every option of vehicles and record it under number of families. Self-assessment. Attempt this question to test your understanding of tally marks. Drag and drop the option at appropriate position in the number of students column. Graphical representation of data. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Data expressed in the form of pictures are understood faster and remain in memory longer. Let us look at 2 simple graphical representations of data: pictographs and bar graphs. Interpretation of pictographs. A pictograph is representation of data graphically with the help of pictures. These pictures can range from fruits and vegetables to vehicles and furniture, and sometimes even human beings. Let us understand pictographs by interpreting the data they represent. Look at this pictograph. It shows details of horses in 5 different stables in a village. Each picture of a horse represents one horse. It is clear from the pictograph that there are 4 horses each in stable 1 and stable 3. Stable 4 has the largest number of horses. Stable 2 has the least number of horses. Let us interpret one more pictograph. This pictograph shows details of all-rounders in 5 cricket teams of the world. Each picture represents one all-rounder. It is clear from the pictograph that Australia has the largest number of all-rounders. West Indies has more all-rounders than Pakistan. Pakistan has the smallest number of all-rounders. India has the second largest number of all-rounders. Drawing of pictographs. Let us now draw a pictograph with the help of the given data. Let us use the picture of a travelling man to represent the bus passengers. As the numbers are large, we use one picture to represent 20 passengers. The red bus carried 100 passengers. If one picture represents 20 passengers, then 5 pictures will represent 100 passengers. The green bus carried 50 passengers, represent 40 passengers with 2 pictures. Represent the remaining 10 passengers with half a picture. The orange bus carried 70 passengers, represent 60 passengers with 3 pictures. Represent the remaining 10 passengers with half a picture. Interpretation of bar graphs. A bar graph is representation of data graphically with the help of horizontal or vertical bars. Bar graphs are easier to draw than pictographs. Let us understand bar graphs by interpreting them first. Look at this bar graph. It is a horizontal bar graph. The thickness of the bars and the gap between the bars are identical. It shows details of clothes purchased by the members of the Khanna family during the year. 1 unit of length represents 10 clothes purchased. It is clear from the bar graph that Miss Khanna purchased the maximum number of clothes during the year. Master Khanna purchased the minimum number of clothes during the year. Mrs. Khanna's purchases exceeded Mr. Khanna's purchases by 5 clothes. Let us interpret one more bar graph. This is a vertical bar graph. It shows details of female workers in a factory. It is clear from the bar graph that the scale used is 1 unit of length is equal to 50 female workers. GH factory employs the maximum number of workers. The difference between the maximum and minimum number of female workers is 250. If CD factory employs 50 more female workers, it will be at par with GH factory. Drawing of bar graphs. Let us now draw a bar graph with the help of the given data. As the heights are concentrated near 60, let us measure 10 inches per unit of length. Now let us draw vertical bars. The height of the bars is decided by the heights of the boys in inches. The taller the boys, the taller the bars. Self-assessment. Read the information given by the pictograph carefully. Drag the items of column B and drop them on the corresponding items of column A. Summary. Let us summarize what we have learned. Unarranged raw collection of facts and figure is known as data. Organization of data refers to a meaningful arrangement of data that provides the desired information at a glance. A pictograph is representation of data graphically with the help of pictures. A bar graph is representation of data graphically with the help of horizontal or vertical bars.